what's up you guys, this is Rob from Plays, and today on the Quick Draw, we're shooting left, right, and center with what can only be considered a Gunkaki when we take a look at all of the new Syndicate Primaries. Now, keep in mind that these are just going to be quick looks. I'll be tossing up links on the full reviews after each are released. However, these will give you an idea as to whether each individual weapon is worth your standing, or platinum, depending on what you're in the mood to spend. So you can pick up these Syndicate weapons for 125,000 standing with each of their respective factions. The Sancti Tigris from the new Loka, the Rakta Cernos from the Red Veil, the Secura Penta from the Parent Sequence, the Synoid Simulor from Cephalon Suda, the Telos Boltor from the Arbiters of Hexus, and the Vaykor Heck from the Steel Meridian. Now, for you wallet warriors out there, unfortunately these aren't available in the market. However, you can always hit up trade chat or make a few allies on the dark side. Just be aware that these do require Mastery Rank 12 to use, so if you're not already there, have fun grinding. So, starting with the Sancti Tigris, we can see that it's got a nice boost of damage, jumping from 1050 to 1260. It's also had its reload speed boosted from 1.5 to 1.8, and had a 5% increase to its critical chance. In addition, New Loka's version comes with an innate V, D, and dash polarity as compared to the original Tigris having 0 to start with. Add in the purity buff and armor-reducing corrosive AoE, this slash-based kitty becomes extremely effective at blowing off heads in close quarters. Now, design-wise, the pattern on it is fantastic, but for one reason or another, the PBR just doesn't look as pretty as it did in the teaser images. Regardless, with a few slight tweaks to its base colors, this is easily one of the better looking visual updates of the bunch. Now, moving on to the Rakta Cernos, it's had its base damage boosted from 200 to 250, its status chance increased by 5, and the most interesting of all stat tweaks, it's had its charge rate increased from 1.0 to 0.3, giving Red Veil's version the fastest draw speed to date. In addition, the Cernos series has one of the fastest reload speeds in the bow category, so while it's not going to break the 100% crit chance mark like the Dread or the Paris Prime, this is going to be able to unload twice as fast. In addition to the Blight Effect's viral proc and movement speed buff, it also comes with 1 innate dash slot and 2 innate V slots, as compared to the Cernos that came with only 1 V. So basically, it's fast and chock full of viral. Why am I not surprised? As for its look, I am a tad bit underwhelmed, as there isn't too much bonus detailing that really makes it feel like you're carrying a Red Veil weapon, aside from the quiver, which looks pretty good. However, the PBR is strong with this one. Next on the list is the Secura Penta. Now, its damage has been boosted up from 350 to 375, and its fire rate has been bumped from 1 to 2 shots per second. In addition, its magazine size has been increased from 5 to 7, and its maximum ammo has been pumped from 20 to 30. All in all, not the most mind-blowing upgrade, however, it does go from having 0 polarities to having an innate D, V, and dash polarity ready for you to slot in every inch of modding goodness. There is one thing to note, the sequence effect works quite well in conjunction with the Penta, as it will not only confuse enemies, potentially causing them to cluster up, but it will also give you a boost to shields, so that maybe you won't die due to a mistrigger. Now, I have to say that although it is a bit plain, I am a pretty big fan of this one. Since my jump into airbrushing Gunpla, I have to say that the shading on this one is quite nice, and while the geometric details on this one are a bit boring, it is very apparent in design. Moving on, the Synoid Simulor has had some interesting changes. No boost to the damage done when each orb merges with another orb. However, it did receive a bit of a tweak. It now only takes 4 instead of the original 5 orbs to trigger a vortex. In conjunction, its damage scaling has also been shifted. The original version dealt 170 with 1 orb, maxing out at 230 with 5 orbs, which is now turned into 175 off of 1 to 225 off of 4. So while its max damage has been lowered, it does take less orbs to trigger its max. It's also had its reload speed decreased down to 2 seconds, its magazine increased from 10 to 15, and its fire rate has been up from 2 to 2.67. In addition, it's also received an additional V slot as compared to the predecessor, and in total comes with a D, a V, and a dash slot. As for the design, I have to say that the particles on this one are simply amazing, as well as the way they broke up the energy lining on the gun itself. It definitely pays homage to the complex nature of Suda, so it pairs well with the mechanical headache that is the Synoid Simulor. Now, onto the Telos Boltor. Straight off the bat, no, this is not better than the Boltor Prime. With that said, all of the Boltor Prime heads can now move on with their lives. As for the rest of us who actually like to understand mechanics, as compared to the Boltor, it's had a substantial boost to its base damage from 25 to 50, which is 5 points short of the Boltor Prime. It's also had its reload speed increase from 2.6 to 2.4, its fire rates increased from 8.75 to 9.33, its magazine increased from 60 to 90, and strangely enough its critical multiplier has been shifted to 2 times, with no change in its critical chance whatsoever. In addition to Truth's gas proc and health restore, the Arbiter's version also comes with innate V and D polarity, as opposed to the original which only starts with a D slot. Now, to continue the disappointing trend, I have to say that this is one of the most boring visual upgrades of the bunch. The only real difference is the enhanced light bubbles and the slight tweak to its color pattern. Sadly, I'm gonna be sticking to the Boltor Prime. Now last, and possibly the least, is the Vaykor Heck. So first things first, at the moment, because I'm not sure if it's intended or not, this cannot use Scattering Justice, which instantly puts it behind the original Heck, especially since the Steel Meridian version does not gain a direct increase in damage and actually gets a decrease in its reload speed. Now, what it does get is an increase to its fire rate from 2.17 to 3 shots per second, a magazine increase from 4 to 8, and a 15% boost to its critical chance, giving it 25% overall. In addition, it has the Justice Effects buff and AoE blast proc, as well as innate V and D polarities. However, I'm pretty damn sure that none of that is going to compensate for the loss in 200% multi-shot. Now, on top of all of that, this has to be the ugliest visual rework of the bunch, with almost nothing changing other than the color pattern and the Heck insignia. I can't even make a sexy time joke about this, I'm so disappointed. So all in all, my current ranking for this is the Tigris at the top, the Penta coming up second, the Cernos and Simulor tied for the next spot only because I'm still wrapping my head around the potential for both of those. Then comes the not Boltor Prime, and lastly the Heck, which is kind of crazy because the Heck would actually place number 1 if it was able to use the Scattering Justice mod. Now, of course, this is all temporary considering the fact that Warframe is in active development and everything could change with a single patch. However, feel free to leave your rankings in the comments below, and let me know which you think is the cream of the crop in the clusterfuck that was today's Gunkaki. So thank you all for watching this episode of The Quick Draw. Be sure to keep your eyes out for the in-depth reviews of each of these, but in the meantime, go show the last 2 Quick Draw episodes some love. Now, don't forget to do all the things that I asked you to do at the end of every one of these, and as always, don't forget to aim for the face, here at A Gay Guy Plays. You know, no matter how much new shit DE brings out, it's nice to know that some things never change.